when I ask you how far, okay, so when I ask you absolute value of x is equal to 2, what I'm asking for is what are all the numbers that are 2 units away from 0, right? So 2 units away from 0, that's 2 and negative 2. So here x is negative 2, x is 2. So remember that absolute value just means distance from 0. So now here, if I have absolute value of x equals a, what that means is x equals negative a or x equals positive a. Okay? Now, to solve an absolute value equation, you have to always isolate the absolute value first. Okay? Now, suppose you did that. So you have the equal sign. On one side of the equal sign, you have absolute value. And then on the other side, you have a positive number. Okay? If absolute value of x equals a positive number, just like we did here, there are 2 solutions. So this will have 2 solutions. If absolute value of x equals 0, let's see. So if I have x equals 0, now I'm asking you, how many numbers are there that are 0 away from 0? How much is that? 1. So this is one solution. And then if I have x equal to a negative number, that's 0 solutions, right? Because I can't say how many numbers are there that are negative 3 away from 0. That doesn't make sense. If this is a distance, it cannot be negative. Okay? So that's how we do this. Okay, now let's take a look at this. We have to solve and then graph the solution set. So here I have absolute value of x equal to 4. So first ask yourself, is the absolute value alone on its side of the equation? It is. So now I can split this and I say x equals negative 4, x equals positive 4. So when you have absolute value alone, you split it and 2 things happen. First, the absolute value goes away, and then you say it equals to negative of this number and then positive of this number. So our answer here is x equals negative 4 or x equals 4. And then we can write it in another way, which is this. Negative 4 and 4. So negative 4, 4. Okay? So here, absolute value of x plus 9 is equal to 14. So let's see. How am I going to isolate the absolute value? What am I going to do? Subtract 9. Subtract 9 and get the absolute value alone. So now I have absolute value of x equal to 5. When the absolute value is alone, now I split this. And I say x equals negative 5, x equals positive 5. And because x is alone now, this is my answer. Or I can say negative 5, positive 5, and I graph them like this.
Which one do you prefer?
Either. Okay, now here. Is absolute value alone on the left side of the equation?
No.
Okay, so now I can split. So I say 2w equals negative 8 or 2w equals positive 8.
Are we supposed to divide it by 2?
2 in a day.
Can you turn it off though? Because I think someone's been calling me at.
So what now? What do I do now?
You divide. Oh.
You divide. I divide by 2. I divide by 2, right? So W is equal to -4, or W is equal to 4. So -4 or 4. Here we go. Okay.
How do you do that done?
Oh, it takes a little bit of practice, but it's kind of like a squiggly. Okay. All right.
If these kind of problems happen on our homework, which most likely they will, will we have to draw the number line?
If it asks you to, yes. If it asks you to draw a number line, then yes, you have to draw it.
And then if
Okay.
not, no.
Right. Okay, so this one. First, I'm going to subtract 4. Okay. Now, 3 times x, rewrite it after you subtract, right, is -3. Now, divide by 3, divide by 3, right, because the absolute value needs to be alone. So now I have absolute value of x equal to -1. Do you see? I couldn't split it until now. You can only split it if, okay, cover the inside of the absolute value. If you only have absolute value equal to something else, that's the only time you can split it.
Why did we do? Divided by 2 and not.
Because it's absolute value times 3. And to do the opposite, it's dividing. So now, look at this. What happens here? Is this possible? Can you have absolute value equal to a negative number?
No.
I think so.
It is not possible. So it's no solution. Now, if it's no solution, you are not allowed to make any marks on the number line. So you just leave it blank. Okay? If it's on your homework, and you have to draw a number line, right, for all of them, because it won't be given to you on the homework, what you would do is, if it's no solution, you just draw yourself a number line, and then you just leave it blank. Okay?
I thought it was that.
Huh?
Number line was -1, +1.
Yeah, no, because remember how what we said here is, if absolute value equals a negative number, then you have 0 solutions. Because what does absolute value mean? It means distance. So here we're asking, what number is -1 away from 0? And that doesn't work because -1 is not a distance. Okay. This one, what do you suggest we do first?
Subtract 3.
Subtract 3. So x plus 1 is equal to 0. What happens if you have absolute value equal to 0? You have one solution. So look at what you do. We're not going to split, but now you can take the absolute value out. Only when the absolute value is away can you subtract a 1. So I get x is -1. And no, it's a solution, but you just get one solution this time. So, because look, here I had absolute value equal to 0. So ignore what's inside the absolute value for a minute. Okay? Let me do this. Ignore what's inside the absolute value. Okay? I have absolute value equal to 0. When you have that, just rewrite it without the absolute value and you can solve it. Okay? So here.
No absolute value for this equation?
Correct. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. Anything that needs to be done here before we split it? No, we can actually split it right here. Okay? So -y plus 4 is equal to -6. -y plus 4 is equal to +6. Do you see this? So when you split, two things happen simultaneously. Hang on. The first is absolute values go away. The second is equal to negative, equal to positive. Okay, hang on. So now I'm going to subtract 4. So negative y equals negative 10. But we're not done yet. What do I do next? Well, divide by negative 1 because you want y equals to something, right? Y equals 10.
Wait, what about on the other one?
Okay, we're not there yet. So this one, I'm going to subtract 4. Negative y equals 2. And then what's y equal to? So divide by... Okay, so here I have y equals negative 2. Those are my two answers. So I have negative 2 and 10. Negative 2 and 10. All right? Okay? All right. So next,